Before I say this, I want to make sure I'm very clear that I am a mental health advocate, and also for men, particularly black men, and I am a social scientist, a self-studied social scientist. What is a self-studied social scientist? I didn't go to school for this stuff. I just research things on my own. I research from other social scientists. I research what they know so that I can get a better understanding versus going to the school so they can give me the understanding they want to give me. I don't want their understanding. I want my understanding. The difference, you go to school, you get their interpretation, their understanding of what they want you to know. That's not how I work. Same thing with being a mental health advocate. I could have went to school to have a master's. Clearly, I know enough to have a master's. PhD level, not there just yet. But as I keep studying, I'm going to learn. PhD system is just more or less, you're going to learn the mathematical side of what they want you to know. So once you get out and you start talking against what you know, they'll push you away from that society of being a PhD. And that's the man who I follow, who wrote a book talking about what is normal. What is normal was pushing against the DSM-5 because he was in charge of the crew to write the DSM-4. So he knows what's going on. But what did they do? Because he has a PhD, what did they do? They pushed him out. They said, nah, he don't know what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. But he wrote the 4. He should know about the 5. No, he don't know. And we don't follow him. So with that being said, black men are victims. Black men are victims. So I'll let you absorb that for a minute while I unroll this wine. I like the taste of this one. It's sweet. I like the taste. I don't necessarily smoke them no more. I used to smoke them a lot when I was in the truck. When I was in the truck and I was driving, I smoked a lot of these. Especially the wine, wood tip. The taste. Oh, so good. But I don't smoke them anymore. I just like the taste. Like the taste, you know? So I say that to say, black men are victims. What are they victims of? Now, depending, if we're going to go slow and I'm going to work my way up. You ready? When I say black men are victims, it depends on how you feel toward black men. Simple enough, right? So if you love black men or you care about black men, you're going to say, no, they're not victims. They're survivors. They're warriors. They're innovators, right? If you don't like black men, you're like, yeah, they're right. They're all victims. They're always complaining and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and they're always saying this, that, and the other. They're always talking, blah, blah, blah. So it's all relative to the person, right? Black men are not victims. However, depending on the response I get from this video, it's going to show your perception of black men. And because the perception of black men has always been in this country, we're talking about the average black man. So if you know the bell curve, we're talking about the 80%ers. The 80% of black men. This country has always portrayed black men as being no good, losers, or drug addicts, and this, that, and the other. That's the way this country portrays black men. Unless you're part of the bougie class, the boule, whatever they call it. I don't even care. Unless you're part of that other class, the upper class. We'll call them the upper class black men. Not necessarily the sellouts, but there's an upper class of black men. There has always been black men in this country, even during slavery, where they were part of the aristocracy of the 13 colonies. They were never slaves. They were black men with money who were like, this is where we're going to live. Start talking about the Northeast boule, the Northeast type blue bloods. They're black. A lot of them are black. They're black. That's why they have old money and new money. Some things you don't know. Why? Because you just don't read. You don't want to study. You want somebody to tell you versus going reading about it. So we're not going to go down that path. Being victims or not victims. The black men of today are survivors of the bullshit that's been going on and continue to go on. Let me be very clear on that. People think, oh, Martin Luther King, Civil Rights Act, and everything is okay. It's 2025. We're still talking about racism. We're still talking about white supremacy. We're still talking about the white man. We're still talking about this shit. Isn't there a constitution? Yeah. When was that written? 1774, 1776. You're still dealing with that same foundation. Even though I talk about mental foundation, for y'all to understand, the mental foundation of who you are is who you are when you was born as a kid and who you are today. It's still in your mind. It's who you are as a person. It's your foundation. It's like when you build a house. It's the foundation of the house. If the foundation hasn't changed, what do you think the house is going to do? There you go. So we can't just go ahead and be like, well, it's over with. You know, we had the civil rights. We had this, that, and the other. There's no more racism. There's no more racism, more white supremacy. It's all gone because it's 2025. We had a black president. So we should all just be kumbaya. It's still going on. Why? Because the foundation of this country is a racist document. We hold the truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal, except those niggas over there. They had to add that stuff later to be like, okay, you guys are free now. They had to add it. If they had to add something to a racist document and the document is still alive, that means it's still here. See, a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to see that. They don't want to talk about it. It's too, it's too much. Right. You don't talk about it. But see, as a black man, we deal with it every day. We deal with it every day. We deal with it every day. Every day we deal with that. James Baldwin had a quote that said, to be a Negro in this country, and to be somewhat aware, like me, to be somewhat aware of what's going on. Socially aware, social scientist, mental health advocate, law enforcement, military training. I see the world for what it is, not for what you think it is. The people who haven't been through all the military and law enforcement, you don't see the world for what it is. You see it for what you lived in your hood for your whole life. You don't see the true side of it. You may see something here and there and something happen in courts or something, that somebody get convicted and not convicted and blah, blah, blah. But you don't see the true side, the true sides of this country until you're in an institution like the military or law enforcement. You just don't see it. You'll never fucking see it. It's like people who work in the Bisco and make crackers and cookies and stuff. And they be like, oh man, if y'all knew what was in that stuff, y'all wouldn't eat it. And you be like, no, it's good. I like Oreos. But the people who see it is like people make hot dogs. And they see the stuff that goes in the hot dogs and they're killing chickens and stuff like that. They see it. So they're like, yeah, I know what all that is. It's just like, I can't believe y'all guys are eating that. I started working here. I started eating that stuff. Oh, what's wrong with hot dogs? What's wrong with this? See, because you don't see it. You don't see how it's being made. Once you see how it's made and you're like, wow. You're like, well, you should do something about it. You should do something about it. It's inside the foundation. The foundation. What are you going to do? If you want to change the foundation, we got to get rid of the Constitution. And you know that ain't going to happen. Because the Constitution is built a certain way to make sure people can wiggle out of things. They can wiggle out. So they ain't going to change that. It's been here since 1774/1776. They haven't changed it since. Most countries change theirs as a new people come into power. They change it. They ain't going to change that. You didn't know this, but we have the only, in this world, the United States has the longest constitution in the world. The world. Go look it up. I don't gotta make this stuff up. Like I said, I'm a researcher. I don't gotta make this stuff up. I just learn things and I give them to you. Here. Whether you eat it or not, don't matter. Here. Let's go back. Black men are not victims. We are so not victims. We just know how to adapt in the environment that we're in. Rough seas, we adapt to the rough seas. Calm seas, we adapt. We know there's going to be rough seas soon. We adapt. We're constantly adapting to things. And what that does, it takes a toll on us. Psychologically, mentally, it takes a toll on us. Especially when you have the black women who are not supportive of the black men. Like every other nationality has a women who support their men except for black men. Now for the 10%, now remember it's a bell curve, talking about the 80%. Remember I did this videos ago, you probably didn't watch them. 80%, then there's a 10 and there's a 10. Women are just not supporting the black men like they should. They say they are, but they're not. Because the second the black man pushes back, all of a sudden it's, and that's just the way it is. So when black men voice their opinion, it's like they're complaining, and we're not complaining, we're voicing our opinion. Even when me making this video is voicing my opinion, it's gonna be like, oh, he's complaining, black men always, There's nobody who wants to trade to be a black man. You as an Indian, Mexican, Latino, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, they would not trade to be a black man. They wouldn't do it. Tropic Thunder, whenever Michael, the one who played Iron Man, played a black man, he did it for that movie, and it was it. You would not trade to be a black man in this country. You just wouldn't. Overseas, maybe, but even then, not really. Because when push come to shove, who's going to get pushed and shoved? The black man, especially the American black man. Because we're different than other black men, and that's something we want to try to push all of us together. We don't, it's like oil and water. The American black man is a unique art. The American black men are unique. We're very, very, very unique. We fought to get to where we are so that other people can come into this country. Can you imagine if we didn't fight to be to where we are right now? Those people wouldn't be in this country, because them folk who control this country, who wrote that 1770, who wrote the Constitution, them folk wouldn't be here. The Civil Rights Act would have never been a Civil Rights Act if King didn't push for that. What do you think would have happened if there was never a Civil Rights Act? Jim Crow would still be here. Them keeping people out would still be here. If black people did come over, they would be treated like us, and there was no civil rights. They would be like, dude, how are y'all still here? I'm out. I came, I saw, I can't do this, I can't do that. They won't let me do this, that, and the other. I got to go. But since the black man did push and did get to where we are today, but then we're pushing aside like, no, it's always been like this. It's always been okay. Nah, without us, there wouldn't be no y'all. Nobody wants to admit to that. Without us, there would be no y'all. I'll say it again. Without us, there would be no y'all. So are black men victims? Hell no. I know I'm not a victim. Military, law enforcement succeeded in both. Succeeded in both. Along with truck driving, succeeded in all that stuff. And then some. I'm not the average. I know I'm well above the average. And that's just not me being, what they say, arrogant. That's not me being arrogant. I know I'm above the average. I see the average every day. No. So not the average. Are black men victims? No, we are not victims. We are not. We just been through so much. We're just fucking tired. So now it's at the point where it's like we just want to be left alone. And there's a difference between being lonely and being alone. Right now I'm in this car and I'm alone. I'm in this car and I'm alone. But am I lonely? No, I'm not. There are black men who just want to be left, what? Alone. They just want to be left alone. If you're not going to add to my life, you're sure as hell not going to subtract from it. I won't let you do that. Period. And that's where a lot of black men are. You see the ones online, they talk, but that's a small percentage of us. The majority of us want to be left alone. If you're not adding to us, we're going to subtract you out. We're not lonely. We just want to be left alone. That's it. We just want to be left alone. And when we want to deal with the public, we'll deal with the public. We'll deal with people. But at the end of the day, we want to come home and be left alone. I said it before. Black men are out here slaying dragons, mental dragons, every day. They don't want to go home to a dragon. And that's why black men want to be left alone. That's why you see pictures where men are just like, they got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. They got a mat on the floor. They got some dishes. They got a TV, PlayStation, or whatever. That's what I had. So I know how it feels. And my bed, and I had a queen bed that I got from them places that sell them queen beds for $199. Yes, I got it, put it on top of the car, brought it home, dragged it upstairs the best I could. No rails, no nothing. Sat on the floor. Had some dishes, had a TV that was hooked up to back then it was a PS2 or something back then. I bought a table from IKEA and twisted the legs on the table, put the TV that I got from someone, put the TV on there, connect up the PlayStation. I want to watch movies. I go ahead to Redbox, and it was just me, my desk I made from the desk I got from IKEA, the chair I got from IKEA. That was it. I was alone, but I had peace of mind, and that's what I don't want to make this video too long. Peace of mind is just valuable, man. Once you get it, you'll do everything to maintain it and keep it. A lot of men don't have peace of mind. That's why they keep running into BS. I'm trying to give you peace of mind. You're like, well, no, I don't want to do it. I don't push anything on anybody. I never will, because I don't want to be bothered. Why? I like being alone. If I want to interact, I can interact. But if I don't want to interact, I want to be able to withdraw, sit back, and see that right there? That's what a lot of you don't have. Let's wrap this up. Are black men victims? No, we're not victims. We've just been through so much that it's hard to explain to people who haven't been through it. And they're like, well, just talk to me. Unless you're another black man who's been through shit, shut the fuck up. And I mean that with all my heart. Unless you're a black man who's been through shit, shut the fuck up. Because you'll never understand. 6, I'm out.